My dear children in Christ, you were in a relationship with a demon. Not a metaphor, not a dramatic way of saying they were toxic or emotional, unavailable. I mean, a literal soul-sucking, low vibrational energy that was using another human being as a puppet to drain you. And you are just now starting to understand that what you survived wasn't just a bad breakup or a rough patch. It was a spiritual warfare disguised as romance. Yeah. And the reason it's been so hard to make sense of it, the reason your mind keeps circling back to the same questions over and over, is because you have been trying to apply human logic to something that was never human to begin with. You know that feeling when you are sitting in your car after work and you don't even remember driving home. Your body went through the motions, but your mind was somewhere else entirely. And then suddenly you are parked engine running, staring at your own front door like it belongs to someone else's life. That's what being in a relationship with that kind of energy does to you. It disconnects you from your own body. It makes you feel like you are watching yourself from the outside, making decisions you don't fully understand. And that's not just breakup or heartbreak. That's a kind of soul fragmentation that only happens when you have been sleeping next to someone whose internal world is completely controlled by darkness. I need you to really see it with something. And I know this is going to be uncomfortable because the truth is. But here is what I am being shown and I'm feeling, and it's coming through with this so much clarity that my whole body is responding to it. The person you gave your heart to, the one whose eyes you looked into and believed you saw love, that person is not who you think they were. They were not even fully themselves when they were with you. And I know that sounds impossible. I know you are thinking, but I saw them vulnerable. I saw them cry. I saw them try. And you did. I'm not arguing this or questioning this. You saw something. But what you were seeing was a wounded soul that had already opened so many doors to dark attachments that those demons were running the show. They were whispering thoughts into the person's mind. They were driving their reactions. They were fueling their words and pulling the strings of every single action they took that hurt you. And here is the part that spirit wants you to understand so deeply, that it changes everything. You don't fall in love. You didn't fall in love with a person. You fell in love with a soul that was being held hostage. And you, being the person that you are, the open-hearted, forgiving, I can fix this person that you naturally are. You walked into that situation thinking you were dealing with a human being. You thought your love could heal something that had been feeding on darkness for years. But you cannot heal someone who doesn't want to be healed. You cannot save someone who sees your light and is secretly trying to absorb it. Not because they want to become lighter, but because darkness cannot stand to be next to light without trying to extinguish it. Think about this. Think about the weird implica in unexplainable things that happened during that relationship. The times you felt incredibly drained for no reason. The nights you woke up at 3:00 a.m. for weeks straight with your heart pounding, even though nothing was wrong. The way you started doubting yourself so deeply that you couldn't tell if you were remembering your own life correctly anymore. Those moments when you would be having a perfectly normal conversation, and suddenly the energy in the room shifted and you felt like you were talking to a completely different person. You felt the shift, you felt the crawl of something not right, that feeling something not right, and you convinced yourself you were overthinking. You convinced yourself that you were being too sensitive. You even convinced yourself that you were the problem, but you were not. You were sensing something real, something that was all operating just outside your frame of reference, because you never believed this kind of thing could actually exist. But it does. I think you know it does. I see this as a picture, a simple picture of a human form and outline, and then an overlay being placed on top of it. The outline is dark. It's a black film that covers the entire person. And underneath that field, there is still a person there. There are still in there. But what you were interacting with was the overlay, that black outline that looked like a person and talked like a person and even smiled like a person. But the soul underneath was so buried under layers of attachments and wounds that they couldn't reach you. They couldn't love you the way you needed to be loved, because the entire entity that had access to them was dictating everything. This is why you felt crazy. This is why you kept going back to them, even when everything in your body was screaming at you to leave, because you were hoping you'd see the real person. You were hoping that just one more conversation, one more chance, one more act of love would bring them back to themselves. And sometimes you'd get glimpses. Sometimes you'd see that person, the real one, peeking through for just a moment, and your heart would break all over again. Those moments were real. They were there, but they were not enough, because the spiritual attachments was stronger. And I need you to hear this right now, not to make you feel sorry for them, but to make you understand that what you were really up against. You were in a relationship with someone who was being spiritually run. Thoughts were not their thoughts. Their world words were not coming from a place of clarity. Their actions were being guided by something that wanted to destroy you, not because they hated you, but because you carry light. And everything that's dark is threatened by that, and you being kind, you being forgiving, you being patient. All of that was like a threat to the system that had taken hold of that person. So the more you loved them, the harder the darkness worked to push you away, to confuse you, to make you feel small, to make you question your own worth. It wasn't personal to them. It was personal to the thing that was using them. Now here is where the confusion comes in for so many people. And I know you felt this. You look at that person now and you see them continuing to make terrible choices. You see them repeating the same patterns. You see them moving on to someone else and treating them the same way they treated you. And you think, why? Why aren't they changing? Why didn't my love matter? And that question has haunted you. It kept you up at night. It's made you wonder if you were even really loved at all. But I want to give you a different PERS perspective. I want you to shift the way you have been carrying this weight. And I'm telling you this because Spirit wants you to have relief. The reason they haven't changed, the reason they are still doing the same things, is because they haven't addressed the root issue. They haven't done the deep, uncomfortable, painful work of looking at themselves and saying something in me is not me. They haven't admitted that they are being led by forces they don't understand. They haven't surrendered to the kind of feeling or healing that would eventually actually free them. And you cannot do that for them. No matter how much you pray for them, no matter how much you hope for them, no matter how much you analyze their behavior to try to understand it, you cannot fight a spiritual battle that belongs to them. That's not your war to wage. And the reason you survived what you did is because you were not meant to be consumed by it. You were being protected. And I want you to hear this loud and clear. You were saved. And I know it sounds like it doesn't feel like being saved. Sometimes it still hurts. The memories still come back. The dreams still happen. But look at you. But look at your life right now. You have distance. You have clarity. You have moments of waking up and realizing you don't have to walk on eggshells anymore. You don't have to monitor your words. You don't have to shrink yourself to make someone else feel big. You are living in a reality that is yours, and that alone is proof that something bigger than you intervened. There was a hand that reached in and pulled you out of a situation that would have destroyed everything good in you if you had stayed. And I want to talk about something that Spirit has been showing me in waves. That's why I'm today speechless. The one you were with, they are now watching you. They are seeing you thrive. They are seeing you find your confidence. They are seeing you start to glow in ways you couldn't when you were with them. And it's triggering something inside them. Not because they want you to be happy, but because your happiness is a mirror. It shows them everything they are not. It shows them the emptiness they are still carrying. It shows them that you didn't need them after all. And that is devastating blow to a system that relies on control and dominance. They thought you would never make it without them. They thought you'd come crawling back. They thought you'd be so broken, but that you'd accept any version of love they offered, even if it was conditional. And when they saw you really walk away, not just words, your physical, and then start thriving, it fractured something in their ego. Not because they care about you, but because they lost the one energy source that was keeping them going. You were sustaining them. Your light was feeding something in them that they couldn't produce on their own. And now that you are gone, they are scrambling. They are finding new ways to reach you. They are sending messages through other people. They are creating confusion in the background. They are trying to make you question whether you made the right decision. Because if you are happy, if you're successful, if you are at peace, it means they have no power over you. And that is unacceptable to them. But here's the thing you need to understand about this. This person, the one who's trying to circle back, who's planting little seeds of doubt, who's testing the waters through indirect means they haven't changed. They haven't changed. The thing that was driving them before is still driving them now. They haven't done any of the work. They haven't faced the darkness inside. They have just gotten better at hiding it. And the only reason they are reaching out now is because they sense that you are becoming more whole. They sense that you are becoming more powerful. And when something is dark, when something it's always attracted to the light. Not the joy, not to join it, but to try to pull it back into the abuse, the pattern. That's the pattern, So I need you to understand something, and I need this to land deeply. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are not being cruel by protecting yourself. You are finally seeing clearly. And that clarity is what's going to save you from ever falling into that trap again. The reason you are still processing this is because you are good. You are a good person. You believe in redemption. You believe in second chances. You believe that love can change people. Really, love can change people. Those are beautiful beliefs. They are part of what makes you who you are. And those beliefs have also been used against you. But that doesn't mean you should let them go. It just means you need to be more discerning about who gets access to your heart. They are signs that you can trust. Now, there are warnings that you previously ignored because you wanted to see the best in someone, but the best in someone is not always available. And when someone is being controlled by darkness, the best in them is buried so deep that even they cannot find it. That's a tragedy. Yeah, that's really painful to see. It really is, but it's not yours to solve. It's not your assignment. It's not your sacrifice. You cannot sacrifice yourself to save someone who has not chosen to be saved. The only thing that happens when you try to save someone who doesn't want to be saved is that you end up drowning right alongside them, and you have already been too close to drowning. You don't owe anyone that level of sacrifice. What I see for you moving forward is a life that keeps opening up. The more you detach from this situation, the more good things flow into your life. It's like there was a dam holding back your blessings, and removing yourself from that person was the equivalent of pulling the plug. All that stagnant water starts moving again. New opportunities show up. People who truly appreciate you start appearing. Synchronicities start happening that make you stop in your tracks and wonder if your guardian angels are showing off. That's what happens when you clear out the energy that was blocking your flow. And that person, the one who was dragging you down, they are still stuck. They are still in the same pattern. They are still being used by the same energy. They are still a puppet, but you are no longer their audience. And I think the reason Spirit wanted me to share this today, the reason this is coming through so intensely is because there are so many people who are still carrying the burden of a relationship that didn't make sense. They are still trying to find closure from someone who doesn't understand what closure even means. They are still waiting for an apology that will never come. And that weight is casting them their present moment. It's costing them the beautiful life that's unfolding right in front of them because they are still looking back over their shoulder and at something that was never good for them. You have to understand that closure is not something that person gives you. Closure is something you create within yourself when you finally accept the truth of what happened. And the truth is that you loved someone who couldn't love you back because they were spiritually compromised. The truth is that you did everything right and it still didn't work because the situation was designed for you to lose. The truth is that walking away was the bravest thing you could have done. And the truth is that you are not the same person you were before all of this happened. You are wiser, you are more cautious, you are more aware of energy. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. I also want to talk about the lingering attachment because I know you feel it. Even though you have been apart, even though you have healed in so many ways, there is still a cord that connects you to this person. And it's not a romantic cord, it's a spiritual one. It's the energy you invested is the part of you that still wants to believe they could be different. And as long as that cord is there, you will keep thinking about them. You will keep checking in. You will keep asking your friends for updates. You will keep Googling their name when you think no one is watching. That cord needs to be cut. That's uncomfortable. Yeah, to think about it. Not out of anger, but out of self-preservation, self-respect. You have that consciously decide that you are done being tethered to that energy, and it might take more than one attempt. It might take several, but every time you do it, you get a little more free. Imagine you are standing in a room and you are wearing a heavy coat, and that coat is made of old patterns, old fears, old version of yourself that you don't need anymore. And that relationship, that person is a significant part of that coat. Really significant part. You have been wearing it for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to not be weighed down, and now it's time to take it off, but you keep reaching for it. You keep putting it on out of habit. You keep feeling its weight and thinking it's normal. That's what the attachment looks like. But here's what I want you to know. When you finally let that code go, when you walk away from the attachment completely, you are not going to miss it. You are going to feel the lightness that you cannot even imagine right now. You are going to feel like you can breathe all the way down to your toes. And the person who is wearing you down is going to be a distant memory, a lesson, not a wound, not a regret, just a part of your story that prepared you for something greater. And that is really what Spirit wants you to understand right now. This was not a punishment. This was not a curse. This was an assignment. You were put in that relationship to learn something, to break something, to end something. And now you have the hard part is done. The recognition has happened. The awakening has already started. Now what's left is for you to lean into the new version of yourself that's emerging. The one who doesn't accept less than what they deserve. The one who can recognize darkness from a distance and not feel obligated to save it. The one who knows their worth so deeply that they don't even entertain the idea of settling. And I know that's easy to say and harder to do. I know there are still mornings when you wake up and feel the ghost of that relationship in the room with you. I know there are still nights when you question everything. That's normal. That's human. That's just the residue of something big. But it's not the final word. Your life is still being written. You are still becoming the person you were before. That relationship is gone, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, the person you were during that relationship was broken, and that's okay too. But the person you are becoming now, the one who knows what they survived, the one who is no longer ashamed of what they went through, that person is strong, that person is radiant, that person is being guided and protected in ways they cannot even see. So when you feel the tug of the past, when you think about reaching out, when you feel the moment of loneliness and you start to rewrite the narrative in your head, just remind yourself of this one truth. You were not dealing with a person. You were dealing with something that wanted to consume you, and you survived. I think you should be grateful for that every single day. Yeah, because so many people don't. They get pulled back in, they lose themselves again. But you made it out, and that means something. That means you were protected. That means there is still so much work for you to do in this world. That means your story is not over. It's actually just beginning. Just beginning. You have more to give, more to create, more to love. And this time you are going to wiser about who you choose. You are going to trust your instincts. You are going to walk away at the first sign of danger. You are going to stop giving the benefit of the doubt to people who haven't earned it. And you are going to be fiercely protective of the beautiful energy you have reclaimed, because that energy is precious. Precious. It took you a long time to get it back. Don't let anyone take it from you again. Not through manipulation, not through guilt, not through false promises, not even through the memory of who they used to be. Because who they used to be is not who they are now. And who you used to be is not who you are anymore either. You have leveled up, you have grown. You've been through the fire and CAA and come out of the other side on the other side. And the demon you were in a relationship with, you left it behind. But the person was using. They are still there, still struggling, still trapped. And you can pray for them if you want. You can hope for them, but you cannot save them. That's a job for someone else. That's a job for them. And maybe one day they will do the work. Maybe one day they will break free too. But that has nothing to do with you. Your responsibility now is to build the life you were always meant to have, the one that was waiting for you all along, the one that requires you to be whole and happy and unapologetically you. So go live it, go creative, and never look back.